Good morning. I'm Rick Cotton, Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and thank you all for coming out. We're here to discuss the record volumes of passengers that we expect to pass through JFK Airport over this busy coming summer travel season. We're also here to discuss the extraordinary amount of construction that is currently underway at JFK as we build a new JFK for the 21st century, a world-class facility that will compare favorably to any airport in this country or abroad. So for the second year in a row, we are holding a press conference to share with you our plan to help passengers navigate this challenging intersection of record travel and record amounts of construction. And we apologize in advance for any inconvenience that travelers are caused by the construction and by the record volumes during the summer travel period. JFK, as many of you know, is in the midst of a historic $19 billion redevelopment. It will transform what has been routinely rated one of the nation's worst airports into what will become one of the world's finest when we are done. This project is the largest that JFK or any U.S. airport has ever undertaken. Currently, there is $15 billion of construction underway at the airport. The new Terminal 1 alone will be nearly the size of all of our buildings at LaGuardia. A new Terminal 6 will connect with Terminal 5, also fully underway. The Port Authority has undertaken the challenge of rebuilding the entire roadway network at JFK. $15 billion of the $19 billion that will ultimately be invested in JFK come from private financing. It is a very important part of the Port Authority's approach to building new world-class terminals, which is to work with a private partner who brings not only financing capabilities, but the skills to build and ultimately to operate these world-class terminals. JFK is the largest international gateway in the United States. 60 million passengers and growing pass through JFK every year. For the sake of the region, for the sake of the national and international role that JFK plays in our air travel networks, we are committed to maintaining its operations throughout this construction period. But this summer, we expect to set a record for summer travel through JFK, and we expect to be absolutely at the peak of the construction activity on the airport. This summer, we anticipate more than $200 million worth of construction activity every month. And for the next 2 years, construction will move forward at a blistering pace, with the first gates at our two new terminals opening during 2026. Construction of terminals and new airport roadways will, however, have a significant impact on traffic movement within JFK. The forecast for record summer travel will add to the potential for congestion, particularly at peak periods. We are projecting that nearly 750,000 passengers, more than 750,000 more passengers, will pass through JFK than last summer, and that means more than 750,000 passengers more than have ever passed through JFK. Although the next 2 years will be a challenge, we are confident that once travelers see the new JFK, everyone will agree that the pain will be worth the gain. But we have experience from having worked through the total transformation of LaGuardia. We have had the experience of building a brand new Terminal A at Newark, and we are bringing every tool that we have developed in the course of those construction projects to the table to manage congestion, to manage traffic, to assist travelers in navigating JFK during this unprecedented travel period and this unprecedented construction period at JFK. So I'd like to turn the podium now over to Jessica Force, who is our project executive for the JFK redevelopment project, who will discuss the measures that we have taken and what travelers can expect as they come to JFK this summer. Jessica?
Thank you, Rick. And as Rick mentioned, we're approaching the peak of construction activity at JFK and increasing the amount of work that we're doing across the roadway network. With that comes impact. Drivers and travelers can expect impacts at the roadways, at the terminals, and the terminal frontages. Frontages will see reduced capacity in their ability to handle vehicles. Periodic lane closures can be expected on the highways accessing both the terminals, all of the terminals. And you can also expect long-term traffic pattern changes and detours. Changed traffic patterns and temporary lane closures will be the regular for this summer's travel experience. We want to highlight that starting in June, if you're traveling from Long Island to Terminal 1, you'll be detoured off the JFK Expressway, and you should expect at least 10 to 15 minutes of additional travel time. On top of impacts and traffic pattern changes, you will see regular lane closures as it relates to construction activity. We also want to highlight that in addition to the impacts on the roadways, you can expect we would like drivers to be alert for real-time instructions from PAPD officers who may be located at key locations across the airport. These locations will vary depending on construction and traffic volumes, and you should be alert for directions to hold at a traffic signal, to take a different route, or no idling on the frontages, and you'll be asked to leave the terminal frontages. In addition to impacts to the roadways, there have been significant impacts to parking throughout redevelopment. At this point in time, we've lost over 3,500 parking spaces at JFK. We've impacted lots both within the central terminal area as well as in the long-term lots. We really want to advise travelers to pre-book to guarantee a space be available and make people aware that there are remote overflow lots that have been created with connections to either via bus and or air train to the terminals. So I also want to highlight some of the key actions we're taking at JFK to manage traffic, learned very keenly from our development time at LaGuardia. As we'll see at our next spot, the Airport Operations Center, which is staffed by a multidisciplinary team, including operations, Port Authority police, and traffic engineering staff. This team leverages predictive analytics and passenger data to allocate resources and implement traffic mitigations in response to increased traffic queues or volumes. And as we mentioned a few minutes ago, this team also is directing the frontline Port Authority police staff to implement real-time mitigations, such as closing roadways. The AOC team has access to a number of Visten assets that it leverages for its real-time management, including cameras, weather sensing devices, travel time sensors, and various wait time trackers for either taxis. This information, along with the flight data that it receives, is feeding the team to make real-time decisions and respond to incidents across the system. The airport traffic performance and predictive flight data is reviewed weekly, and we will be alert to take other actions if needed. In addition, we'll be launching a summer communications campaign, which consists of a multi-channel messaging. So again, we're always leveraging communication with our airline customers and our airline partners, updates to our websites, targeted digital ads, again, trying to target customers coming on traffic and weather radios inside New York City taxis. We're also leveraging our Community Advisory Council and local community members to alert people to what to expect this summer when coming to JFK. So not only do we want to highlight the expected impacts and the measures the airport is taking, we also want to be clear about our recommendations for customers. So first and foremost, we want to highlight our huge asset at JFK, which is the AirTrain. Jamaica Station is a 20-minute connection from Penn Station, Grand Central Terminal, or the Atlantic Terminal via the Long Island Railroad, the E, the J, or the Z. There's also access to the A train and subway at Howard Beach, and we've added additional peak hour capacity to AirTrain for the Jamaica routes. We also want to highlight coming soon is our free and easy lot opening in June. This lot is adjacent to the Lefferts Boulevard AirTrain station, which is a free 8-minute ride to the terminals via AirTrain. Easy drop-off, easy pickup, avoid traffic, and drop off your loved ones. Or ask them to take the AirTrain from the terminal to the lot upon arrival. Stay tuned for jfkairport.com for our opening date. Again, with this increased traffic and increased construction, do you need to return to the terminal? If you need to return to the terminal after dropping someone off or passing the frontages, you can expect that due to multiple road closures, this could be a 15 to 20-minute travel time, and during the peak periods could be over 30 minutes. So again, follow signage, use our mapping platforms that are regularly updated, Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, which will highlight routes and routes. And again, also highlighting to use the easy lot at Lefferts, which will be opening in June. Again, and some final thoughts on what we want drivers and travelers to know. Use mass transit. Again, connections from AirTrain via either Jamaica or Howard Beach. When picking up passengers, don't go directly to the frontages. Use the free waiting lot at Lefferts Boulevard. You can either pick up or drop off passengers there. Leave extra time. It will be a busy summer of travel, and we will be in peak construction periods. And again, if you are coming and parking, pre-book to guarantee a spot, so you are not left without a spot when arriving. And then again, various ways to stay informed. Use construction.jfkairport.com for updated information. Use our mapping apps. We are regularly updating them daily with changes to the networks. Read your emails from your airlines. Again, as we highlighted, we partner with airlines to share impacts, so you'll get specific pre-departure information. Again, travel tips are always available on via the Port Authority e-alert or on X at JFK Airport. So now I'll turn it back over to Rick to highlight some of the construction that is ongoing.
Thank you, Jessica. So I want to talk about where we're going. Is this all really worth it? But I will repeat Jessica's advice first, which is we are asking everyone, use mass transit. Use mass transit. When coming to JFK this summer, leave extra time. Leave extra time. And if you must drive, plan to use remote lots. Take what we are pleading with people to access the airport by not coming in to the close-in central terminal area. That is what has the potential for the most congestion. But where are we headed? We are confident, and we ask people's patience on the understanding that where we're headed is world-class. A new Terminal 1 anchoring the south side of JFK and encompassing what will have been 3 former terminal sites, 1, 2, and 3, will be an extraordinary new all-international terminal at 2.4 million square feet, nearly the size of both of the new LaGuardia terminals. Our goal, like with LaGuardia, like with Terminal A at Newark, is to win a 5-star Skytrax rating with a world-class terminal that the region deserves. In just the past year, on the graphic that you see, we've made significant progress. You can see the evolution of the new Terminal 1 site. It's gone from essentially an empty construction site to where you see the buildings out of the ground, the steel up, roof starting to go on, headed in 2 years, in 2026, for the first new gates to open. Similarly with new Terminal 6, it is being built on the site of old Terminal 6, which was demolished a while ago, and will also extend when we demolish Terminal 7 to cover its footprint as well, and it will be adjacent to and attached to and an extension of Terminal 5, creating an anchor terminal on JFK's north side. The new Terminal 6 is designed, like new Terminal 1, to be among the top rated in the world. As is the case with all of our new terminals, both will feature inspiring public art, locally themed restaurants, shops that will make them a destination in their own right, with a New York sense of place. The renderings that are up on the screen now show you the progress that Terminal 6 has made. Again, from an empty construction lot to where the steel is up, the buildings are taking shape, headed for its first gates to open in 2026. The Port Authority has underway the roadways project. It is an extraordinary project to transform the airport's roadways. 8 new bridges, major modifications to 5, over 6 miles of new roads, 30% fewer decision points for drivers, 30% reduction in traffic merges or weaves, and we will add a minimum of 34 new overhead sign structures to provide clearer wayfinding for drivers. But as I speak of these new terminals, of the new roadways, of the new JFK, I remind everyone and plead with everyone to remember that the Port Authority has done this before. We've done it at LaGuardia, we've done it at Terminal A at Newark, and we intend to do it again. What we are striving for is world-class terminals, best-in-class terminals. LaGuardia Terminal B and Newark Terminal A are the only airport terminals in North America to be awarded the highest Skytrax rating. Skytrax is one of the premier rating services that evaluates airports. Both LaGuardia Terminal B and Newark Terminal A have received UNESCO's highest pre-Versailles awards for architecture and design. That is the standard that we have set. That is the standard that we're committed to. We fully do it. We will do it again. And again, we ask for travelers' patience. We apologize in advance for inconvenience that people may experience, but we are employing every ounce of strength that we have to minimize and mitigate the congestion, and we appreciate everyone's understanding and belief that where we're headed will be worth both the wait and any inconvenience that people experience. So with that, we are happy to take questions.
Look at the peak of LaGuardia Road construction. Famously, people were getting out of cabs and walking to their flights. Do you anticipate something like that, despite your advice, that people are going to be in
We pray that that will not happen. We really have taken every tool that we learned. And what I would say about LaGuardia is, yes, that did happen, but it happened at the beginning. It happened before we had learned the lessons, the very hard lessons that we learned at LaGuardia. And we will not only have, which we didn't have at the beginning at LaGuardia, but a 24/7 so-called airport operations center, which we're standing in, where we have cameras on every square inch of roadway. We have predetermined what we call plays, but which are predetermined mitigations, predetermined changes in the traffic patterns. The Port Authority Police Department posts are enhanced. They are in constant radio contact with people in this room who are watching the monitors. And so we will be staffed up. We will be benefiting from those lessons. And so our plan, our commitment is to avoid that. Yeah.
You told people to take mass transit to this airport, but the cost of the air train is $8.50 for a family of four. It just costs more cost efficient to take an Uber, which is going to create more traffic. Why don't you make the air train free for the summer if you really want people to take mass transit?
Well, we're going to consider every option. The fact is, the air train, even for a family of four, is going to be less expensive than an Uber trip. But we are evaluating, I would say, everything. Jessica mentioned the free lot that we're going to create at the Lefferts Boulevard AirTrain station. We're evaluating whether we need to put more busing operations in terms of making the various portions of the airport operate better. So in some sense, we have a lot in place. We're going to watch over the early parts of the summer peak, and if we need to take more aggressive action, we will. We may be back in front of you to make further announcements. Yes. Well, historically, one of the major causes of delay has been the weather. And summer weather is what summer weather is. Climate change is intensifying storms. So what I would say is we are all going to have to be prepared to deal with delays that come from storms, from airplanes being delayed. We have tried to working with the whole airport community at ways that we can improve coordination. In fact, this Airport Operations Center is an example of that, to try to minimize delays on the tarmac and to target as short a period of time, either in terms of takeoff or landing. Largely, that is in the hands of the FAA, but they are a great partner, and we're working very closely to address those. But what I would say is we recognize that those events happen, and we are making every preparation we can to be able to deal with them. Yeah, Jeff?
On the Lefferts lot, is it not ready today to be used as a drop and ride? You mentioned something about June, so what is it that's not ready today that has to be ready?
I'm going to turn that over to Jessica.
Yes. So currently it sits within a paid parking lot. We want to make it free for everyone. So we've got to isolate it to be free, make sure people are aware of what to do there. But the space is there. We expect it'll be very early in June that we'll be able to go live with that lot.